First of all, just want to start off with all my videos with what I've been doing and saying for a while is basically thanking God. I thank God for what I can be thankful for, and I'm gonna try to be consistently saying that as it's getting harder and harder to say that. Not only because even speaking is getting harder, but because also the fatigue and life is getting tougher and it's gonna get worse due to understanding that I'm a target individual. I know that's where it's going, and let's just say I've been provoking this perps, this low life, but consistently put the reality of what they're part of in their face. They wanted to recreate reality in ways that showed themselves as these heroes, justice seekers, protectors of children, avengers of women, when in reality they are the total opposite of that. They are cowards involved in something that torture some of the most vulnerable. Women are some of the biggest amount of target individuals. There's a lot of target individuals who are women, and those women go through terrible tortures consisting of a lot of sexual torture meant to break down the target individual. Rape is commonly utilized, testified, and a tool of psychological torture that is common not only toward men but a lot of women especially. And children has been disgusting to see how torturous they can be to children, and the way they've been trying to present themselves as such is by utilizing this technology that can manipulate you. It seems like the goal is not only to psychologically torture you via the manipulation of your mind, but also add a layer of torture by trying to make you internalize this manipulation, understanding that not only want him to have this experience, but make that target individual internalize these manipulations. Believe that this is something that is not being manipulated into his brain. And so they go through the typical gaslighting, try to be repetitive enough, going through scripts of things they say over and over. As I'm being manipulated via synthetic telepathy, then I hear the V2K, where a lot of these perps participating, let's just say not the most impressive. Clearly, you know that they're not the people behind what's happening to you, but just participants. It's easy to get that experience to see, gain that experience to see that and observe them for the true bottom feeders in this whole thing. But they will truly do their best to make themselves appear in ways that makes them look fierce. What you experience is no longer experiences that are happening organically, but alteration of your mind to make you experience that. But in fact, as I was speaking, they were trying to force my speech to say something else, like, oh, it's easy to manipulate you to get that way. Well, it's easy when you have technology that can manipulate your brain. This disgusting trash wants you to anyhow possible internalize it. And rationality of the most nonsensical way is putting your brains like, yeah, we're just matching your brain when this and that. Like they want you to think that even though it's manipulated in ways that should make sense. As if manipulation of your mind is something that you should subscribe to, that you should not be subscribed to, that you should think that's normal. Because we're manipulating in a way that should make sense. We're pairing this feeling with something you experienced before. We are altering your brain in ways that and they even have like this trashy low life say things like mind control. It's a mind that we're controlling and resurfacing things within the mind. And you hear the noise campaign that you hear that this is the kind of retardation around you that they do to gaslight you. I'm supposed to be thinking that should make sense because some purpose is honking. That's the kind of stupidity that's around you. A whole ecosystem designed to make you internalize this stupidity. That's messing with people's brain should make sense if if they rationalize in this stupid way, which is not even what they're doing, they are designing the experience they want you to experience. However, they can make you experience that. They want you to experience that, and they're going to manipulate your brain. However, it's manipulatable. However, they can play with your brain, literally using technology that can play with your brain to have the emotion that they've created, that they've designed. However, they do that. And you heard the honking that was supposed to make me subscribe for what I just said. Can you imagine that if I can play with your brain this way, that should make sense. When in reality, they're doing things that's torturous to you. It's mind torture, about manipulating your mind. Then they use these retards, these clowns, to try to gaslight me. This disgusting trash force you to have the most disgusting experiences, but the ability to manipulate your brain, then via this ecosystem that you just heard some honking, meant to make you internalize this. Now remember, these people not only just do this manipulation of your mind, but are involved in a program where torturing children is happening. It is disgusting. What I mean is, this is why I always put in the faces. This is why this is going to be very dangerous for me. Not dangerous, but I'm saying like provoking, where things are going to get worse. Because I refuse to let these people, even in the retardation that I just spoke about, that triggered these people to make noise campaign by honking, when they escape from the reality that this is how diabolical they can be to children.
Seems to be a sexual to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victim. Worryingly, a growing number of people are contacting TI support organizations to report that their children seem to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victims themselves, making the torture a generational thing.
A significant number of members, many single mothers and small children, minor children as young as 3 years old, are being targeted and harassed, particularly with voice-to-skull V2K. The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice-to-skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
Those are whose mind control this bunch of trashy low life, abusing children to that point. This is who wants me to think like a mental retard. This is why they're making this noise campaign involved in things that does these torturous things to children, abusing children that way. They're nasty low life. They're abusing children, make them live in a life of agony, anguish. And this child is not screaming like that because this child is happy. Now, can you imagine trash like that involving that, wanting me to accept this manipulation? You clearly understand that these people are not here, or this program is not about protecting children. They are supposed to put people into torturous situations, psychologically and physically. It is disgusting. As this woman said, I mean, we'll talk about the most innocent of the innocent.
This and do what they are doing to innocent people, not only senior citizens, but children. It's a slow, painful death.
This low life will never make me internalize this disgusting manipulation, no matter how retarded they think I'm going to be pushed to think, no matter how much honking is happening here. And so I put that in their face. Listen, they do this nasty manipulation on my mind, which I show every time I see children, and use this ecosystem around me that's supposed to make me internalize this. This technology can do these things.
Hearing voices, piercing sensation on skin, sinus problems, and sexual attacks. In fact, the TI continued, many report the sensation of having their genitalia manipulated. Both male and female Ts report a variety of attacks to their sexual organs. My testicles became so sore I could barely walk, Girard says of his early experiences. Others, however, report the attacks in the form of sexual stimulation, including one TI who claims he dropped out of the seminary after constant sexual stimulation by directed energy weapons.
This was a article posted, put in the Washington Post, based on a target individual called Gerard, describing what was happening to him. I've said same things, but they do this trashy, make me have these experiences when I see children creating sexual stimulation of different level of intensity, especially little girls. Even me thinking about it right now, making me think about little girls that give me stimulations. This is what in this film, this is what it was addressing from this article.
Especially the women. There seems to be a sexual component to this program. Haptic feedback, vibrations and pain delivered to their most intimate areas in a way that seems to want to humiliate them. Some TIs report seductive or taunting voices in their head at the same time as sexual assaults are taking place. A Washington Post article about the issue states, others report the attacks in the form of sexual stimulation, including one TI who claims he dropped out of the seminary after constant sexual stimulation by directed energy weapons.
And this goes on and talks about rape, things that this woman go through.
There seems to be a predatory element. There are some other things that have happened.
And women like that speak about their
Then they'll
rapes.
start touching me. Just over the last year, it's gotten really much darker with sexual assaults, and then not being able to find the perpetrator or the people assaulting me. It hurts, and I'm a human being.
Yeah, you're talking about like the electromagnetic, the rape and that. Yeah, that's oh my God, that was kind of on the onset that I became aware of that. It was like I could feel it in my backside and my front side. And in the very beginning, it was, they wanted me to know. It was like I could feel this vibrating, just. Sheer powerlessness over somebody, even though they're not putting their hand, they're putting the weapon on you, and there's nothing you can do. And that's an awful feeling.
It's usually combined with a very cruel microwave auditory effect, voices in their heads telling her, we're not raping you, we're just stimulating you. And that has got to be...
So they do all kind of rapes.
Please go.
They do all kind of rapes, inclusive of actual physical rapes. But many of the target individual, as I'm saying that they're trying to mess with me, many target individual deal with this electronic rapes where they can make you feel like you're getting raped via this very advanced level of technology. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to create this psyop of this, which I show, of this fierceness that they can be entitled to be involved in that because their gender. They can be involved in a program where a lot of women are getting raped in different ways, from the advanced level with advanced technology that can rape you without even being there, to rape where they just make somebody incapacitated, and then have people go in the room and rape these women like this.
And went to bed. I hid off, and they had a relatively high floor, and they had all of a sudden I had been there like 4 or 5 days, and the night before I was attacked really bad. I noticed a maintenance man about 10 or 11 o'clock at night messing with all of the lights up and down the hallway. And as I'm sorry, I get kind of upset when I think about this because it's really messed up. And my spidey sense went off, and I was really kind of nervous about like what the hell he was doing out there, because he was kind of a sinister, he was real creepy kind of person. So the next night, I believe it was a Friday night, I went to bed. I had all of the doors, all the locks on the door, even the one that kind of like goes over that you can't open from the outside. I had everything locked up. Figured I was safe. I went to bed maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, bleeding out of every hole, sick. Someone was in my room, or had been in my room. Food was missing. My dogs were traumatized. I had been obviously sexually assaulted in all the worst ways possible. I got up, first thing I did was vomit. And all I wanted to do was I was just in shock. There was a do not disturb sign on my door, and I didn't do this. And there was lotion all over my bathroom floor. All I wanted to do was just get on a plane and get the hell away from everybody. And I was, very, very sick and in a lot of pain. I had already been denied a rape kit when I owned my house, and woke up, and my hair had obviously been pulled out, and there were earplugs in my bed, and I felt like someone had done something. I went to Palos Community Hospital under the directions of a non-compromised police officer who told me that if anything happened, to go right to the hospital. So I did, and I had a compromised doctor who treated me like a third-rate citizen and said she would give me an STD test and a drug test, but she refused me a rape kit. And
so you hear how
please go kill yourself, or you
hear how torturous they are to women. And rape is commonly happening in different formats, from the remote electronic way that remotely torture and rape women and men, to the way that this woman described it, where she was incapacitated. They got in her room and raped her, and even tried to get a rape kit in pain. And because doctors are involved, they refused her a rape kit. Oh, by the way, the doctor was a female, as you hear her say that. So gender here is not a way to cover up what they're part of. They're just opportunists, and psyops and facades are created to disown the target individual in ways to make you think that this is anything but what it is. A program that's using human beings, from children, women, and men, as guinea pigs, where sexual torture is commonly utilized, part of the breaking down of the target individual. Psychological torture is utilized, and physical torture. And this is what this woman is saying, describing here.
So other people profit from your suffering. In my book, that is human trafficking. And yes, aside from the people that actually come in and rape you in your room while you're incapacitated. So
this is the same woman who was talking about how they can rape you using this technology, and while they're raping you using this technology, they can remotely rape you. They can say, we're not raping you, we're just stimulating you. Now here she's saying how they can also rape you in the way where they can incapacitate you, have men come in and rape you. They can do it in different format, while also being involved in a program where they can make children scream in pain like that. This trash wanted to paint themselves as this justice seekers. By the way, they tell me how I'm gonna be a whore and this and that. I'm like, listen, when she talk about human trafficking, even women are being whored that way. Your gender is not gonna cover up what you're part of. That even traffic women in this fashion. This low life are disgusting life that deserve to be at minimum killed. Now, I'm not endorsing that. It's not for us to do that. But you gotta know their worth. They're disgusting trash that failed the psyop on my end, where I was supposed to look at them as just the anger. For me, they were really trying to make me think of Corny and Britney, and I was like, they will be one of those women that would be raped in different ways. And they wanted me to have this mental battle. I was like, I'll never. Let me show you a quick snippet of what Britney looks like while you see this one breaking down. I'm gonna be quick. This woman is happy. This woman is living life with her children. What you saw is different version of women talking about the different torture they deal with. From this
just over the last year, it's gotten really much darker with sexual assaults, and then not being able to find the perpetrator or the people assaulting me. It hurts, and I'm a human being.
Yeah, you're talking about like the electromagnetic, the rape and that. Yeah, that's oh my God, that was kind of on the onset that I became aware of that. It was like I could feel it in my backside and my front side. And in the very beginning, it was, they wanted me to know. It was like I could feel this vibrating, just. Sheer powerlessness over somebody, even though they're not putting their hand, they're putting the weapon on you, and there's nothing you can do. And that's an awful feeling.
It's usually combined with a very cruel microwave auditory effect, voices in their heads telling her, we're not raping you, we're just stimulating you. And that has got to be the most disgusting, wicked, evil, satanic thing I have ever heard.
This way, or as this woman says again, getting raped.
The health doesn't come.
In this fashion.
So other people profit from your suffering. In my book, that is human trafficking. And yes, aside from the people that actually come in and rape you in your room while you're incapacitated. So
you can understand that this low life around me have been trying to create this facade and psyop that I refuse to let them live the fantasy. In regard to the manipulation, every time I see children, especially little girls, they force me to get these experiences that they want me to internalize. I was like, no, we're manipulating you, but the way we're doing this, we're pairing this and that. It's like, you're manipulating my brain, you're changing my brain to force me to have these experiences. And you're concocting the emotion, the stimulation that you want me to experience that's going to be degrading to torment me psychologically. Yes, the people who do this here, who are very mean to the point of being this mean to children, and I'm being careful because they're about to pair, which is the way what they try to describe as what they're doing to me.
Use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
Some of the torture are sexual, by the way. But those are who's pairing. Mind control. These clowns. I think I'm going to let them live that fantasized reality. I know what they deserve. I know what they're worth. They're disgusting trash. This is not something that protects children, but does everything possible to torment you psychologically and physically, inclusive of children. This is the things they do. I'll show you an example of like images of children. For example, this little baby here, this adorable little child here. I think it's even AI, but look at this. Adorable little girl, give me stimulation. That I'm supposed to internalize this as if it's me. Matter of fact, as I was showing, like they make me squeeze my leg to give me like some pressure there. Of course, I know it's not me. I know I'm being manipulated. Even playing with like spasm of my muscle, just to create any ways of forcing me to get an experience that's degrading when I see children. From intense sexual stimulation to even creating a muscle spasm to squeeze myself, like squeeze my legs together to create pressure. Matter of fact, I'm having, they've tormented me so much psychologically that even washing my private area has been rewired in this degrading way. That to the point where I don't even want to wash myself there. What has happened because of that, which has happened multiple times, I've made videos about it, the lack of hygiene in this area have caused me to have certain yeast infections, which again, I'm not trying to be too graphic, but now thankfully I caught it before it was happening, but there's still a little bit of a like feeling from infection that they can, it's not a full-blown infection, but it's just a little bit of like a sting that they force me to have. They make me feel the sting when I see this child using this yeast infection sensation to torment me when I see children that I'm getting because I'm scared to wash myself. Because every time I wash myself, I clean myself, I'm hygienic in that part of the body. They force my thoughts to go in disturbing ways. So I'm so traumatized that I don't even want to wash myself that way. Which caused me to have having some kind of reaction. So I gotta be strong and have to do whatever I need to do because I'm somebody who needs to wash myself properly. If not, because of the procedure I didn't get, this kind of infection can happen easily. So when I saw that, they not only made me squeeze my legs together, like creating a spasm, but also kind of made me feel that stinking feeling. To create a reaction that will be degrading and tormenting mentally when I see this child. Then because I deal with V2K, which is the voices call, I'm a target individual who deal with V2K and synthetic telepathy. So my mind is being manipulated in different disgusting ways, but also then I hear this interaction from V2K, and a lot of them are just discussing little trashy low life. Wanting me to internalize this. It is disgusting. And they make me have these disgusting experiences. Then present themselves as the protector of children. When you hear a child screaming in that kind of agony, imagine the people involved in that presenting themselves as protectors of children. It's so disgusting. Sometimes they say, oh, we're just part of the war. This is war. You torture children like that for war? Disgusting, low life. And they're little cowards. And not in war, they're using human beings as guinea pigs. Regardless of this technology going to be utilized for war or not, we are not at war. We are being utilized as test subjects. And so there's a lot of this disgusting thing for me. And I've been showing that in their faces. And then, like yesterday was bad. Because as I go to this office, I see the most entitled, disgusting trash. Who are so cowardly, but so disconnected from reality. They really thought they could Jedi mind trick the target individual into believing that, oh, we are entitled to be involved in this. That we're not going to be accountable for being involved in something where children scream in agony like that. That our gender, our way we present ourselves, the way we walk, the way we flip our hair, we cover this up. I almost lost it. And sometimes I feel like this is not fair because there's target individuals who've lost their mind and killed, which I don't endorse. But these people have killed, this target individual have killed even children. Like Stephen Marlowe killed a 15-year-old girl, Kayla Anderson. She ended up getting killed. And I'm in the office and I see this trashy lowlife in their 20s thinking that there are now, because they involved, or the group of people involved themselves in that are like this woke-like individual, that I should see them as a different thing. It's like, no, you're involved in a program where children are being tortured and tormented, and women. And they utilize psyops and facade to cover up what this program does to the most vulnerable. There's this trash that I detest so much. And because I put that in their faces, and like, oh, I feel bad. It's like, you feel bad? You think that's what I want you to feel? I want you to feel like if something happens to you, that's why. That's what I want you to feel. I want you to feel like you deserve to a lot of things to come to you. I don't care what you feel good about. I want you to feel like this is what you deserve. This is why I look at you like the shit that you are. That's it. You delusional, disgusting trash. And so I was in the office, and let me show you what this trash appeared. I blurred it, but they were there. One of these trash kind of looked at me and tried to say something. Yeah, they're gonna get used to it. And I'm looking at her as like, target individual have killed. This trash, I'm not even mentally prepared to understand that this is what somebody would do. Like, somebody will kill for what they're part of. They'll kill them easily. I'm not endorsing that. We should be strong and not do that. But when I see trash like that, they are weak, cowardly, easy, vulnerable. They're not even like some tough. And it's not about their gender. It's just like you can tell they're like not even like they're nothings. Because there are a lot of female participants. Some of them are executive level. That you know, like, okay, she's some kind of executive. She got some juice. And I look at them straight in the face like, you are not going to be intimidating me into internalizing this. I will not. I think that I'm not being manipulated. I know what you're part of, no matter what your status. So there's nobody here playing this game. And I've noticed the more vocal they are, the more nothing they are. Because they're so disconnected from what will happen to them. Where others who are a little bit more advanced in age, not in age, but like experience in life, know that everybody can be pushed to the point where this life can be handled quickly. This trash was like, oh, there's one of these trash sitting there. She was walking like she thinks she's on the walkway. I was like, ugh. Little delusional clowns flipping her hair, thinking that she got her makeup on, is gonna cover that up. I'm like, no. And she said something, you get used to it. I'm like, and when I heard this, I'm like, it's disgusting trash. Because this woman here says something about getting used to the tortures.
a dysfunctional way. Just trying to help fight this thing, you know?
This woman who's talking about how she gets raped and feel powerless about the way they rape her using this technology. But this under nobody. So for me, mentally, I prepared myself. I looked at her, I was like, hey, I'll go there for those who got used to it. Like her.
It's like I'm being attacked right now as we speak, you know, and but you tend to get used to it in a dysfunctional way. Just trying to.
And she's probably getting attacked the way she mentioned it before, which is sexually. And standing there talking. Because she got used to it and tried to function while being raped. So at this trash, to me, they will never cover up reality. That's the level of disgusting low-lifeness. And then this disgusting teenage trash they utilize. I mean, the truth is they are getting exploited, but I have no sympathy for them, because what it is they're being groomed at this point. But some of them are some of the loser already. Listen, I'm not saying that when you have a child as a kid, your life is ruined. But I'm saying you're starting off already behind. Okay? It's already a bad start in life. Not to say that you can't get out of that. Of course, things can move on and you can grow up and be able to raise your child. But it's not a good start. Okay? Nobody wish their children to have children when they're children. But some of these sad, pathetic losers who are perps, who are teenagers, some of these trash apparently are pregnant. They've been telling me they're gonna have these teenage trashy losers act like they were victimized by me and they got pregnant by me and things like that, that they know they can't even come near me without a major issue happening to them. And I'm not talking about what they try to invent. I'm talking about lashing out. And they try to gaslight me. I have body cams on, multiple by the way, to ensure that these clowns don't even leave the fantasy. In the train, these disgusting teenagers, the things they do. I was in the train, and for me, like I said, there's like a facade of like kind of woke like, and I'm liberal by the way. But they try to normalize this by like having people who you think are supposed to be like conscious about human rights and things like that involved in a program where they rape women and to the point where they're getting used to it. But this trash here, you see me, actually they're themselves laughing. I was like, I'm in the train, I have the whole video, and then this woman is laughing because there's like some teenagey looking, and I'm going to try to restrain myself from insulting them, looking pregnant like. This doesn't do justice how bad it was. I'm not even want to be insultive of the way they look, but the thing is, she wanted to be seen. I was supposed to, and they manipulate me to have experiences. I'm like, look at this teenage, sad, pathetic little life. She looked like she's pregnant. Either she's pregnant, or it looks more like she was showing her belly. And in my mind, I still try to work with my brain to make me see this pathetic little life here in this way. It's bad. It was bad. And even this woman was laughing, even though she's a perp. They were laughing because they're manipulating my brain. She was like looking at her, smiling, laughing. And this kid was like doing her hair while her stomach is hanging out. And then in the train, this guy was trying to intimidate me, to internalize. Like, he was looking at me. I'm like, look, yeah, I'm not, you see, And I was speaking. I was like, this clown in front of me, he wants to. This, even the people there are laughing. This is bad. I'm telling you, the picture is not showing how bad this person looks. That is not an adult. I mean, it was bad. Slappy. I don't know if she's pregnant or look like she's pregnant, like, but or have a big stomach, showing her stomach. And I swear to God, I couldn't believe it. It's like, do you even know what you look like? Like, you look like they have no self-awareness. You know, when women are pregnant, sometimes they don't feel comfortable in their body because they're like overweight and they have a whole baby in them. And they don't feel like their best. This trash is just showing a stomach. Ugh. And she's this kid, it's not even a woman, this teenage kid, showing her stomach in this sloppy way coming out of her shirt. I was like, ugh. And I was being forced to get this experience. Like, look at this trash. They're not even conscious of what they look like. And then the guy was staring at me. I'm like, look, who wants this? And they tried to make me imagine they're gonna say that this kid is. I was like, ugh. And they tried to make me think, oh, you're harassing her. I was like, what? I'm in the train from here all the way, and all of a sudden she was like, okay. She never got into the train, by the way. I was in that train for maybe a good 30 minutes at that point. Clowns. And then while I was there, you know, there's people who want to frame me with this disgusting, sad, pathetic teenage trash, who some of them look pregnant, which she looks like she's pregnant right now. The stomach hanging out, you just barely like when I say sloppy, I mean literally her shirt couldn't go over her stomach. Now I'm thinking she's probably because she was pregnant, but it's that point where you don't know. Like it's very disgusting. And she was trying to adjust her. I was like, ugh. There is nothing that's gonna make you look like. And in my mind, they make me think of like this like young adult that was a mother that she already had a child, but she was holding a baby. And I talk about her slapping different way. Like she's slapping in a sense like even her shirt is like she's wearing sweater. She's dressed like comfort, like she's probably is pregnant. Try to adjust her. I was like, oh, go to school. Look, maybe 16-year-old. Like you're doing the wrong thing here. For yourself. Nobody's interested in you. You're not even conscious of what you look like. You're not even aware that you don't look like you look like a mess. A mess that is like that can't even get a shirt that's big enough to cover your stomach. And then even this woman was laughing. It's still disturbing. In my mind, I tried to create a mental battle because they want me to think somebody she looked like a young adult who was a mother. Her child, she was actually holding a baby. Like the baby was already, she didn't look pregnant. She wasn't pregnant. And they tried to mess with me with her. I was like, okay. This is a teenage kid pregnant or looking pregnant. Stomach almost coming out of her shirt. Disgustingness. She didn't even want to come in. It's like, you don't want to. You should turn around. It's like, you want to get away from the body cam. I was like, that's good. It's disgusting, sad, pathetic. Can you imagine somebody like that try to be like, yeah, no, that's my. The women are even laughing. They can't even keep a straight face. And then the same clown bring up the memories that they altered. They're like, yeah, attitude. Try to make me think, oh, somebody I was with, like, that she had attitude. That means she's not an adult because she's an attitude. I'm like, trash. You're having pregnant teenage trash like that playing rape victims. You know how discredited you are. You are involved in something. You make children scream in agony like that. Not only they have these disgusting teenagers, not disgusting because the way they look, but disgusting in the sense of what they're doing. Standing there, fully looking pregnant. Life already not the best. Then you're involved in a program where children are tortured in in such a diabolical way. As I'm saying that they're trying to, they force me stimulation toward her like some young adults. I'm like, okay. But, oh, doing this to children. And they stimulate me toward this fitness like young adults person. And then there's a baby that they're messing with me. I'll show that too. But this trash to this to children.
Back. Vibrations and
belief. We have confirmed that these kids are in fact receiving directed energy weapons and voice to skull. It's a very disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
Abusing children that way, this way. Where mothers are pleading to do something, and then wanting me to accept stimulation toward babies. Like, let me show you how bad it gets. There was like a adorable little girl dancing that they were messing with me. Let me show if I can bring that up. Like this baby here dancing, forcing me to get stimulation and be like, ah, babies, trash. You're doing these disgusting things that you do to target individual.
Hearing voices, piercing sensation on skin, sinus problems, and sexual attacks. In fact, the TI continued. Many report the sensation of having their genitalia manipulated. Both male and female Ts report a variety of attacks to their sexual organs. My testicles became so sore I could barely walk, Giard says of his early experiences. Others, however, report the attacks in the form of sexual stimulation, including one TI who claims he dropped out of the seminary after constant sexual stimulation by directed energy weapons.
By the way, with these people who do these evil things to children,
hearing voices.
Because once that is recognized,
especially
disturbing development for us. With children, they'll use their mother's voice. The parent has to tell the child, watch my lips. If you didn't see me say it to you, that wasn't me.
this is who's manipulating my brain. Capable of torturing children and abusing children that way. In a program where sexual stimulation are utilized to break people down psychologically, physically. Then these trash paint themselves as the protector of little babies. And then they have this trashy low life exploited, where even the perps here laugh at them. Call themselves winners. You know, the most pathetic part is like they want to feel like they're so much empowered. Like, yeah, we killed you. It's like, you didn't kill me, the government killed me. This is a program ran by the government. There's some trashy low life involved in something where the governmental entities are creating a program, in charge of a program that torture even babies and utilize clowns like them to implement these things onto us, while trying to paint themselves in ways that they present themselves as the protector of children when they are here torturing children, and then manipulate target individuals to have these experiences, to make the target individual internalize these experiences, while children screaming in agony like that still try to think that they can present themselves as the protector of children. Target individual, I already died in here. The stupidity I dealt with yesterday was insane. You know, I'm in the train They don't care about the story they create. There's a train that ends up, and I made a video about it on 125th. What they try every time I see this, they make me think of somebody who's definitely was in the 20s or whatnot, mid-20s or so. When I was in early 30s, I remember looking at her as like, nah, she wasn't. And today, because I'm getting so much older than, you know, that this whole thing for me, when I came, this was like 6-7 years ago. Now when I see some 20-some-year-old, they look more like children. Matter of fact, not too long ago I made almost an hour long video about thinking of somebody who was I thought that person was a teenager, and she does look like, I was like, I couldn't believe finding out she's somebody in the early 20s. And I'm still shocked about that. Now this person I know for sure she was like and so when I go to the 125th, it's like, yeah, I remember that person that you saw, that we were at the same stop. And it's funny because like, yeah, he stopped. It's like we're going both at the same place, the same stop. I don't even know the city well enough to stop anybody. How? But this is people who are literally torturing children like that, having these losers of trash here. In some cases, even pregnant. I wish I could show how bad it was. Like that. Trying to show herself because she knows that the brain's gonna be manipulated. Even somebody like that, a mess like that, I can be forced to get manipulation because they do that to little kids, babies. It's so nasty. So targeting videos, stay strong. I was listening to videos I made. They were trying to twist things around because I was like, I would never want to harm a child like that. Meaning that there was this next door neighbor kid that I felt bad about because they have parents that are so disgusting, that put their kids in those circumstances to be perps and to agitate targeting video. And I remember seeing her feeling so bad for her because she knew that what she's part of is bad, it's dangerous. Forget even feeling bad, but knowing that this is a dangerous thing that you're doing. Because target video can lose their mind. You push somebody into an agitation, anger. They're going to act with anger. And I remember seeing that feeling so bad about this child because I understand that the circumstances is somebody, an adult, a grown man and women are putting her in that circumstance. And she's like more mature than these grown men and women because she knows that by doing that it's dangerous. She's right to be scared because maybe a target individual can lose their mind and do something. Obviously, I will never harm a child like that, meaning that this innocent child that you can see doesn't even want to be there. And you're like, oh, you don't want to harm a child like that, so how would you harm? When I'm trying to say like a child like that, you can tell she doesn't even want to be there. She's being forced to be there. You can see she's still innocent. And there's other children there, but they were like thinking it was no more game. She was the one that knew that was wrong. And I was referring, especially a child like that, that's just like conscious that what she's doing is not a good thing. That things will come to her if she does this. And she's aware and mature enough, even though she's 9 years old, to know that I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this thing. It's dangerous, it's bad. Because I'm pushing people to get angry. And when people are angry, things are bad are going to happen. And having parents, adults, who put her in that kind of circumstances, it shows that the disgustingness we're talking about. Well, this clown thing, they don't know what could happen to them. They still think that people believe it's this portal. When I'm listening to children screaming agony like that, cowards trash like that, like in this office, they don't even know what can happen to them, thinking they're like immortal when they're just nothings. Little cowards who just expect the target individual to maintain humanity while they play this way. They play this game. And this child was already mature enough to understand that, surpassing the maturity of adults. Like this trash at the office. And them twisting my words into just trying to say something that nobody want to harm any of this disgusting, harm these children's sport, especially this innocent kid that fell through. But don't get it twisted. Some of this teenage trash. Huh. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my rage is really high. I don't know how much I can restrain myself if this trash play this game, especially when I listen to these children screaming in pain like that. And be like, yeah, it's not fair. I'm like, okay. Think you can torture little kids like that? You're gonna live your fantasy? You can make kids scream like that? Abuse children like that? Like this? So I'm saying that they try to gaslight me. Like this? It's not fair. But what's gonna happen? It's gonna be not fair too. Because these clowns, this teenage trash, think it's a game where they're winning a war. When in reality, this is not a war. The reason why they torture children like that is because they were all test subjects to this. So Tiger, we just stay strong. And for me, they're like, no, but remember what you did as a child. It's a justice. Yeah, okay. Hey, for the justice of these children in agony, that you are involved in a program that does this thing to children, to a child screaming like that. But that's child's justice. I swear that child's soul is not going. You're not going to create a fantasy, because these children need justice for the agony and sufferings they go through. And they don't care this trashy low life think that the teenager, the childishness, could override a child suffering like that. I know there are people thinking that's normal. I guarantee you, for their soul, I'm willing to put myself in circumstances for the justice of these children. I can just stay strong.